One card on the bottom for Jesse. That's a mold of 6. Tropical Island pass from Phil.
I know it's like so much fun shuffling.
Yeah, at first I didn't interpret shuffling as like dancing. I interpret shuffling as shuffling a deck of cards. I thought, when you said I'm tired of shuffling, I was like, yeah, it's 80 cards. That makes sense. I'd be tired of shuffling that shit too. So you can understand why I was like, I was like, yeah.
Both. I'm also tired from shuffling.
I hate shuffling Urian.
I'm also tired from shuffling Urian.
I was watching because I was at the US Open, so I didn't get to watch it live. I was watching it live.
All right, Elvish Reclaimer. Brainstorm in response. How is it determined who gets on the feature match table on Legacy Night? So I look at the standings, first of all. And then we have a... okay, Force of Will happening here. Pitching Snapcaster, Elvish Reclaimer is counter. And then we have people who... I mean, you're going to skip over Force of Will for a feature match, right? Right, everybody? Don't do that. You have people that people want to watch. And then we have... you know, a variety of decks that I try to feature on stream. I do as best as I can in like the 1 minute I have to decide who's going to be in the feature match. As best as I can, try to have variety. Try to feature decks that we don't, you know, we haven't seen in a while if I can, or Allosaurus Shepherd is at the battlefield now. Predict. Loam into the yard, okay.
Thinking about it. I'll go with
Could dredge here. Nope. Just draws 2. All right, fetching and pondering. And then, yeah, so what is it? Deck diversity, highlighting players I know people like to watch, and top of the standings. That's how I choose the feature matches. It's really simple. Audrey says that's untrue. I've been in the channel sometimes and I mean none of these criteria. All right, Fiend Artisan comes in. Allosaurus Shepherd attacks.
this time I'll oh, sure. Oh, sure.
Okay, so something is happening on upkeep.
Yeah, I'll take it on.
Phil's upkeep, crop rotation, floating a mana.
Beforehand after that?
Maybe going for Bajuka Bog here? There's Bajuka Bog. Looking to get rid of Phil's Loam in the graveyard. So Brainstorm in response, getting to dredge anyway. Double counterbalance team Tropical Island into the yard. Counterbalance basically shut off with Allosaurus Shepherd on the battlefield, and Phil's graveyard is now exiled. Loam back in hand. Draw for turn. Now Scalding Tarn getting correct. That's a volcanic island. So Fiend Artisan has lived for now. All right, so it's getting bolted. So never mind. All right, Life from the Loam. Get back Scalding Tarn.
Shadow Spirit, 2 triggers. Trigger.
There's an Elfish Reclaimer for Jesse.
Seed combat.
It is a 3/4.
This is 5, 7, 14.
All right, there's a Scalding Tarn for Phil. Pass the turn. So Elvish Reclaimer's live now. Gaia's Cradle already on the table, so not a lot going on with that. Okay, tap a Cradle, play a Cradle, making a lot of mana,
Trigger on stack.
activating Allosaurus Shepherd.
I'll do 5.
Flames of Anor. Remove Elvish Reclaimer. Resolves, attack for 5.
Cracker. Pick up the bolt.
Chose 5 damage to target creature. Bolt back on top. Phil draws it. Can now remove Allosaurus Shepherd potentially. Jace the Mind Sculptor.
I'll brainstorm.
Brainstorm for Phil.
I'll go like this. We'll kill the guy. Go ahead.
All right. Bolt removes Allosaurus Shepherd. No creatures now on the battlefield for Jesse. Phil has removed all of them.
Yeah.
Collector Roof. Okay. I don't think Phil cares about the text on it, but it's an attacker potentially. Jace brainstorms.
Yep.
Oh, force negation.
Counterbalance.
Counterbalance. Okay. Allosaurus Shepherd no longer on the battlefield. It's relevant. What number did Phil put on top? Phil goes down to 7 after Collector Roof attacks. Doesn't attack Jace. Fetching here on upkeep. Resetting the top of the library. Gets a Mystic Sanctuary.
I have a counterbalance.
Endurance. Counterbalance trigger on the stack.
I feel like
Jace the Mind Sculptor revealed on top. That's a miss for countering Endurance. Phil hardcast Force of Will counters Endurance. And now Bolt will go back on top and get drawn. Reset the top of the deck for counterbalance. This deck list from Force of Phil has not yet been posted that I'm aware of anywhere. This is a deck that Phil is working on. Countered by Bolt on top.
Good.
Another 1-drop. Counterbalance trigger. Phil has the option to fetch a Mystic Sanctuary here. Chooses not to. There are 3 on the battlefield already, it looks like, so maybe Phil's out. Ignoble Hierarch will resolve. Fate Seal. Puts it on the bottom. Pass the turn.
I was like, wait a minute.
Dryad Arbor gets played as land for turn. Attack Phil for 1. Phil down to 5. The plan is not to attack Jace. Brotherhood's End.
2 land.
Yep.
Lotus Put. Undetermined. Active.
Segment.
Endurance using floating mana. Fetch and response. Counterbalance trigger. All right, there's a 4th Mystic Sanctuary. Flame of Anor back on top, I guess. Is there a 3-drop in the yard? Either way, it's a scoop.
Yeah.
Wooded Foothills getting cracked. Scott says this deck looks sick. It does. I didn't play against Phil at this event, but I did play Jesse. Yeah. All right. Once upon a time. Finds a windswept heath. There's a ponder for Phil. Question to the Twitch chatters, question to the YouTube commenters, question to anybody watching this. If I'm going to cover a Magic event tomorrow, a Legacy event, what decks should I put on camera? What decks do you want to watch? If you were the director, you're going to tell me, Chris, we need these particular decks on camera for feature matches. What is your choice? Mono black Beseech, mono black Helm.
Go ahead.
Bolt on Fiend Artisan, it's gone. Yeah, there weren't many Eldraine cards first week at this event. I think people are like still waiting for cards in the mail, whatnot, but I will definitely be trying to feature Wilds of Eldraine cards if I can on future streams. Assuming they show up. It looks like Beseech is pretty good. Colorless Forge. We'll see what the YouTube commenters want. Portent. Whoa. Camera got bumped there. You saw that, everybody? We're going to have to find out who did that. Counterbalance for Phil. Draw off board.
Bless you.
Light Confidant says Temur control interesting. Is that a good interesting or a bad interesting? All right, it's a good interesting. Control for life.
The deck, I see.
No, I did finish both of them. I'm trying out one of them today. You good? Yeah.
Green Sun X's 1, it looks like. Is Jesse going to look for another Reclaimer, or is this something else? Ah, Allosaurus Shepherd. Yeah, I didn't think of that one. That shuts off Counterbalance for now. Want to make Soul Tide control work because of Leovold? Me too. Temur control is Miracles that bad? I don't think Miracles is bad. I think Phil likes switching it up. You know, we see Phil play Miracles a lot on this channel, but Phil does play other decks at the locals. Pretty frequently, I would say. Don't always get a chance to see everybody every week on camera, but yeah.
Yeah, these ones will, these three will just,
cards you have?
I have 5 cards.
yeah, they're just like a thicker plastic. It's not like a top loader. It's just a thicker
P2 light, circle.
yeah, similar to these, this is just slightly thicker. Like, these are like,
We see Roland every week. Yeah, we see a lot of Roland and Force of Phil, and Okay, that's endurance now, though. Graveyard's getting put on the bottom.
For two.
Target player 2 face
Float mana.
And a few other people that have been with us since like the earliest days of 90s MTG, like the OGs. Back when 90s MTG first started live streaming and all the matches were remotely played over webcam on 90s MTG. Force of Phil, of course, was there jamming with us, but so is Jesse Ma. Jesse was on a lot of those streams. If you go back in the 90s MTG YouTube archives, back to 2020, you'll see a lot of Jesse jamming on stream with us there and playing a lot of Zenith decks and Control. And Jesse, I've lost track of time now, but Jesse top 8'd Eternal Weekend Legacy a couple of years ago. So Jesse's a formidable competitive player for sure. It's a Sylvan Library for Force of Phil. Don't exactly get excited to get paired against either one of these players at an event. Both well prepared to stomp the competition, I would say. Both Jesse and Phil.
Lord.
Thinking about what to do with these creatures on the board. The only elf on the table right now is Allosaurus Shepherd, so the dinosaur ability is a little sad. Fiend Artisan is a nightmare, in case anyone doesn't remember. Put the text for Fiend Artisan up on the screen. I don't know if the average Legacy player even knows what this card is. I don't know. We haven't seen it much on stream, on our channel. Attacking for 4, leaving up Fiend Artisan. It activates only as a sorcery. So we might be seeing it get activated here, maybe sacking Endurance. Not sure. Okay, so Grist getting cast. Making an insect, mill a card, basic forest.
Yeah. One creature.
Okay, so with mana floating, Beseiju on Sylvan Library. Volcanic Island is fetched. So Phil dealing with quite a board now. Grist is a big problem. Insect, Fiend Artisan, which is declined to use its ability on this last turn. Allosaurus Shepherd and Endurance. Cradle can make potentially 5 mana next turn if another insect gets created. Phil playing Temur, not going to see Terminus here, but we know Phil from game 1 has Brotherhood's End, Flame of Manor, Lightning Bolt, of course. Let me take a look at the graveyard now to determine the size of this Fiend Artisan.
He's a 2/2.
Okay, so it's pointed out that Fiend Artisan is a 2/2.
I'm gonna target. Haywire Mite? Haywire Mite? Okay. Cast Haywire Mite?
Sure. I'll bolt the artisan. Okay.
Bolt Artisan down. Counterbalance shut off by Allosaurus Shepherd, so Phil might be... Okay, so Mystic Sanctuary puts Lightning Bolt on top.
Cards.
So make an insect, make 4 mana with Cradle, potentially. Allosaurus Shepherd can only make 1 creature into a 5/5, which is itself. Jesse makes an insect, mills a Beseiju.
What did you have? I didn't look at your mana. You had another fetch white, or the white was stuck in your hand?
Attack for 5.
No, the problem was that she didn't have the reanimate spell at all.
So 3, 4, 5.
See if I can find something and then if you don't have exactly
Oh, let's say no blocks.
Okay, no blocks. Maybe an activation of Allosaurus Shepherd is happening. Once again, Cradle can make 4 mana.
This only pumps elves, right?
Yeah, so you just probably should have sent like the first one.
I'll attempt to arts me just turn, taking it.
It should have the game 2.
Okay, so Allosaurus Shepherd is stolen by Force of Phil with the ability on the stack. Phil takes 4 and now has an Allosaurus Shepherd. Pretty interesting. Phil has the mana to make it into a dinosaur as well.
I'll bolt your token. Put bolt on top? Yep. Pump this. Attack on Grist.
Grist gets attacked by Allosaurus Shepherd and dies. Wow.
2 cards.
Things not going too badly for Force of Phil. At 8 life, though. A 2-card hand, it looks like.
If you have a second deck, I don't mind playing it.
Going to try and race Allosaurus Shepherd, I guess. Put Phil down to 4. Jesse making 4 mana. Another Grist. There was an extra mana tap there, but okay. Make an insect pass. Phil drew the bolt. Bolting Grist and passing the turn. So last turn we saw, or was it 2 turns ago? We saw Phil bolt the insect and then attack Grist for 5. But this time, okay, so things are moving faster than I can explain. But the possibility of fetching up Dryad Arbor prevented that play. So Grist was bolted directly. Captain Harris, thanks for the follow. Welcome. Slam the follow button, people. It's free. Slam it.
Swing for 1.
So Jesse activating Grist puts a Fiend Artisan into the graveyard. So 2 not summoning sick insects. 1 is summoning sick. Captain says, I catch all the YouTube comments, so glad to catch you live. Thank you for being here. This is the real show. If you're watching this later on YouTube, don't miss our live streams. Don't do it.
I'll come in with everybody that can.
Take off from work. Get a babysitter. Whatever needs to be done. Canoptic Scarab Swarm hits the stack here. Ponder revealed on top. It looks like it will be resolving, but Phil's graveyard's kind of empty. Does Jesse target himself? No. Oh, come on. We're using a red die as the colorless flying insect? Should we just end the stream? Canoptic Scarab Swarm was the 4-drop artifact just played. Attacking Grist, trading with Canoptic Scarab Swarm. Brotherhood's End being cast here. And that'll destroy the rest of the creatures on the board and Grist.
2 cards? 2 cards left. Yeah. This can't be countered.
Allosaurus Shepherd is in there, can't be countered. And there's Ignoble Hierarch. Also can't be countered because it's green.
Yeah.
Phil is at 1 life. What can Phil do? Can't fetch.
Predict target myself. Misty Rainforest. Sure.
Cantripping quite a bit. Jesse is hellbent. Another Brotherhood's End was found, so that will wipe the board once again. Noble Hierarch, countered by Brainstorm on top. Things not going too badly. Brainstorm. Looks like Phil found a Jace the Mind Sculptor. I imagine we're slamming that here. Jesse is hellbent. Very impressed with Phil's play in this game. And the deck. There's Jace the Mind Sculptor. Fate Seal. A box of waffles with a great question. Is Phil's deck fully altered or are those altar sleeves? So Phil has been collecting altars for a long time. No altar sleeves are used by Phil that I'm aware of. Fate Seal. Jace up to 7. Yeah, where's Uro, right?
Yep. Snapcaster.
All right, Snapcaster gets the scoop. That is the match.